The liquid on the table. The human camp was quiet under the silver sky of planet Kale 9. Most of the soldiers were away on patrol. Tents stood in neat rows. Blue lights glowed softly on the edges of their shelters. Inside one of the research tents, strange equipment buzzed quietly. Sayalari, a young alien girl with smooth lilac skin and silver hair, peeked through the tent flap. Her bright golden eyes sparkled with curiosity. She wasn't supposed to be there. Her people had strict rules about entering human areas. But Sayalari was always different. Too curious, too bold, and too fascinated by the strange creatures called humans. She stepped inside slowly. The air smelled sharp, like metal and spice. On the main table next to a glowing console stood a small silver bottle. It had a label in human military code. CSS-09, Combat Stimulation Serum, do not ingest, without authorization. Of course, Sayalari couldn't read that. To her, it just looked like one of the flavored drinks the humans often carried. She had seen them drink colorful liquids after training, and they always seemed happy. Her stomach grumbled. They won't miss a little sip, she whispered, picking up the bottle. She opened the cap and sniffed it. The smell was strong, but not bad. A bit sweet, a bit sharp. Without thinking, she tilted the bottle and took a quick drink. Just one gulp. Then, heat. A strange, warm fire spread through her body. It started in her chest, then her arms, then down her spine. Her knees went weak. She dropped the bottle. It clinked on the table. Sayalari gasped and grabbed her own arms. Her skin began to glow slightly brighter than normal. What is this? She whispered, eyes wide. Her heart thumped hard. Her breath quickened. Her entire body felt like it was vibrating. She stumbled out of the tent. The sun was too bright. The air too cold. And suddenly, every sound was louder, every smell stronger. She could even feel the footsteps of distant soldiers through the ground. Her body shook. She dropped, to her knees in the sand, gasping. That's when he saw her. Corbin, a human soldier, was walking back from his duty round. He saw her collapse near the research tent, her eyes wide, her body glowing faintly. "Hey, are you okay?" he shouted, rushing toward her. Sayalari looked up. The moment she saw him, the fire inside her doubled. She reached toward him, fingers trembling. I drank something," she whispered. Corbin knelt beside her. "What? What did you drink? Are you hurt?" "I don't know. My body, it's not stopping," she said, shivering. Corbin touched her forehead. She was burning hot. "Let's get you inside," he said. He picked her up gently and carried her to his tent. Inside, he laid her down on a padded cot and covered her with a blanket. Sayalari grabbed his wrist, her eyes glowing now. "Don't go." "I won't," he said softly, surprised at her fear. She stared at him like she needed him, like he was the only thing keeping her grounded. Corbin activated his wrist comm and contacted the base medic. "Medical, this is Corporal Corbin. I have an alien civilian in distress. She drank something, maybe from our supply tent. I need help identifying the substance." A moment of silence. Then a reply came through. "Confirmed. We have a missing vial of combat stimulation serum, CSS-09. If she drank it, that's bad. That serum is body reactive and designed only for trained human soldiers." Corbin looked down at Sayalari. "What happens to someone who isn't trained?" he asked. "Severe overstimulation. Uncontrolled biological response, emotional confusion. Possible imprinting on the first person they see during the peak state." Corbin froze. He looked at Sayalari. She was looking only at him, and she wasn't blinking. The serum's effect. Sayalari could hear her heartbeat. It was loud, deep, heavy. She lay on the cot in Corbin's tent, her skin glowing brighter, her breath fast and shallow. Every time she looked at him, something in her body reacted like fire chasing wind. She had never felt like this before. Her thoughts were cloudy. Her body was hot and tense. Her fingers trembled and her chest ached. But not from pain, from something else, something new. Corbin knelt beside her, watching closely. "Hey, I need you to focus," he said gently. "You drank a human military serum. It's not for your kind. Your body's reacting in ways we don't understand." She opened her mouth, but no words came. Instead, she reached out and touched his arm, lightly, at first, then tightly, like her life depended on it. "Don't leave," she whispered. Corbin felt the heat of her skin through his shirt. Her fingers were burning. "I'm not leaving," he said. "I promise." She closed her eyes and exhaled. Her body calmed slightly just by hearing his voice. "She's stabilizing," Corbin said into his comm, "but only when I'm close to her." "That's consistent," the medic answered. "The serum can cause emotional and chemical imprinting. She's locked onto you as her anchor. If you leave, she might panic or worse." Corbin blinked. "Imprinting? Like emotionally bonded?" "Yes. Not permanent, but intense. Think survival instincts plus attraction, plus confusion, all at once." Corbin looked down at her again. Her head now rested against his leg. She had curled into him like he was the only safe place in the galaxy. And maybe right now, he was. Outside the tent, 2 alien scientists from Sayalari species stood near the perimeter, arguing quietly. "She entered the human zone and drank something dangerous," one said. "Now she's been altered." "It's not just her. That serum is designed to heighten instincts. If it bonded her to the human, then others will want her," the second one finished. They both turned to the tent. "If she's carrying the reaction in her blood, she's now a living weapon." Back inside, Sayalari stirred. "Why do I feel like this?" she asked softly. Corbin gently wiped sweat from her forehead. "Because your body is trying to protect you, but it's using my signal to do it." She looked up, dazed. "Your scent, your voice, it pulls me in." "No," he said. "The serum tricks the brain. It thinks I'm safety. So your system wants me near." She touched her chest. "Then why does my heart hurt?" Corbin didn't answer, because even he wasn't sure anymore if this was just chemical or something real. Later, the camp commander arrived. Corbin stood outside the tent to meet him. "She's stable," he said. "But she's clinging to me. She can't rest unless I'm there." The commander frowned. "This is a serious situation, soldier. That serum is experimental, classified. If her reaction gets out, we'll have interspecies fallout." "I understand," Corbin said. "We need to move her to isolation," the commander ordered. "No," Corbin said firmly. "She trusts me. If you separate us now, she could crash. You want that on record?" The commander scowled. "Then keep her quiet, but understand this: if others find out what she drank, they'll come for her." Corbin nodded, but inside he already knew. This was no longer just about orders. This was about protecting her. That night, while Corbin sat beside her, Sayalari slowly opened her eyes. "You stayed," she said. "I said I would." She smiled, faintly. "You smell like comfort." He chuckled. "That's the best compliment I've ever gotten." Then she grew serious. "Is this real? Or is it just the serum?" Corbin looked into her glowing eyes. "I don't know," he said, honestly. "But whatever this is, I won't let anyone hurt you for it." She nodded and held his hand tightly. Hunted for the formula. The stars above Camp Delta looked peaceful. But peace was a lie. Inside the human-alien outpost, hidden messages were being sent. Files were being copied, orders whispered. The name Sayalari had started to spread, not as a girl, not as a patient, but as a target. At the edge of camp, in a tent dimly lit by blue glow panels, Corbin sat on the floor with Sayalari beside him. She leaned into his shoulder, her breath slow now, her body still glowing faintly. But something had changed. She wasn't shaking anymore. She wasn't confused. She was aware. "Corbin," she said, her voice soft. I can feel when you're near me, and when you're not. He looked at her. Yeah, you bonded. She nodded. But now it's not just reaction. It's something deeper. I don't want to be away from you, even if the serum stopped working tomorrow. Corbin's heart skipped. He wanted to believe it was real, but he didn't know if he was falling for a girl or for something the serum had created. Outside, a group of unknown ships landed in the distant hills. They didn't carry Earth flags. They weren't official. They were hunters, black market collectors, and rogue alien scientists who had intercepted a leaked transmission. One of them, a tall insectoid called Grask, looked at a hollow image of Sayalari. She drank it. The full dose, he hissed. Which means it's inside her now, flowing through every cell. The assistant beside him asked, Do we capture her? No, Grask said, we harvest her. Back at the camp, Corbin was called into a private briefing tent. The commander looked tired. You've been hiding the girl for too long, he said. She's recovering. She's dangerous. No, Corbin replied. She's bonded. That's all. She's not hurting anyone. The commander threw a datapad on the table. Read this. Corbin picked it up. The screen showed an intercepted alien message. The girl is the serum now. Whoever controls her controls the formula. Corbin's face hardened. So that's it? They want her like she's some weapon? They want her because they're afraid of what she could become, the commander said. And frankly, so are we. She's not a threat, Corbin said through clenched teeth. She's a person. The commander narrowed his eyes. Then protect her, because they'll be here by morning. That night, Sayalari sat quietly in Corbin's quarters. Her eyes stared at the stars through the tent's transparent ceiling. I feel watched, she whispered. You are, Corbin said. Not just by me, she turned. They're coming, aren't they? Yes. She took a long breath. Then I should leave. Run far. They want what's inside me. Corbin shook his head. No. I won't let you run alone. You'd come with me? She asked. He nodded. Wherever you go. She stood and stepped closer. Even if I change? She whispered. Even if this bond becomes permanent? He didn't hesitate. Yes. Then she smiled for the first time without pain. As they packed, alarms suddenly rang across the camp. Red lights flashed. A voice echoed. Unidentified ships approaching. Unauthorized breach in Zone 3. Corbin grabbed his rifle. Stay behind. Me, he said, but Sayalari stepped forward. No, I'm not weak anymore. The first blast hit the outer fence. The hunters stormed in. Black armored figures, stun rifles, scanning drones. They weren't there to ask questions. They were there to take her. Corbin and Sayalari ran into the outer tunnels, through a maintenance shaft few knew about. Inside the shadows, Sayalari's glow lit the walls softly. Corbin whispered, Where does this lead? To the ridge. There's an old transport pad used for mining. It might still work. Behind them, footsteps echoed. They were being followed. Sayalari stopped. Corbin turned. What are you doing? I have to stop them. You can't. I can feel something now, she said. The serum. It's made me faster, stronger, but only when I'm near you. She held his hand tightly. You are my balance. If they take me away, I'll lose control. Corbin nodded slowly. Then we stay together. They reached the pad. Sayalari activated. It and the ancient machinery hummed to life. Just as the hunters burst through the tunnel entrance, the transport beam flared. In a flash of blue light, they were gone. Only echoes remained. Heat and choices. Blue light faded as the transport beam shut down. Corbin and Sayalari landed in an abandoned mining outpost built into the cliffs of planet Kale 9. The air was thin, the sky dark with rising storm clouds. The place had been empty, for years, left behind when the mineral veins dried up. Corbin held Sayalari steady as she stumbled. Her breathing was heavy. Her body still burned with leftover energy from the serum. Her skin glowed like soft fire. She leaned against the metal wall and whispered, "It's growing inside me." Corbin knelt beside her. "What is?" "This heat. This pressure. It's not just in my body now. It's in my mind. My feelings. I don't know what's real anymore." He placed his hand gently on hers. "Then let's find out. Together." Far above them, the rogue ship circled, scanning for life. But the thick cliffs blocked their sensors. For now, they were safe. Inside the outpost, Corbin searched for supplies while Sayalari sat quietly, holding her head. The bond was changing. Not just chemical. It felt emotional now. She thought about his voice, his scent, the warmth of his hand. Why did it matter so much? She had been alone her whole life, seen as strange, too curious, too emotional for her own kind. Now, this human, this soldier, was the only thing that made her feel whole. And she wasn't sure if that was the serum speaking, or her own heart. Later, Corbin returned with a heat blanket and some dried food. "I found an old med kit too," he said. "It's not much, but it'll keep us going for a while." She nodded, quiet, then asked softly, "Do you think it's just the serum?" He paused. "I don't know," he answered. "I know it started with that. But I've been around soldiers my whole life. I know what's fake, what's real." "And this?" she asked. He looked her in the eyes. "This feels real." Her lips trembled slightly. "Even if I lose control again?" "Especially then," he said. The next morning, Sayalari woke up gasping. Her skin burned. Her veins felt like they were on fire. The serum had surged again, stronger this time. She gripped the wall, shaking. "Corbin!" she shouted. He rushed over, catching her just before she fell. "I can't breathe," she cried. "My body's changing. I don't understand it." He held her close, letting her cling to him. "I need to bond deeper," she said through clenched teeth. "I need your biology." "What do you mean?" he asked. "I found the files before we escaped. There's a way to balance the serum, but only if the human willingly shares a second genetic imprint, a full exchange, blood, contact, closeness." Corbin's heart raced. "You mean, merge part of me into you?" She nodded. "If I don't, I might lose everything. My mind, my memory, my feelings, even my bond to you." He sat down, silent. This was no longer a rescue. This was a crossroads. "Are you sure this is what you want?" Corbin asked. Sayalari looked at him with glowing eyes. "No one ever let me want before. They always told me what I was allowed to feel." She touched his face gently. "But you let me choose." He took a long breath. "Then my choice is yes." He pulled out his field injector and pressed it to his neck. A soft hiss. He offered it to her. "No turning back now," he said. She took it, pressed it to her chest, and everything changed. Her skin pulsed with light. Her eyes shimmered. And for the first time since she drank the serum, she felt peace. No more burning, no more confusion, just quiet. And him. She fell into his arms, tears running down her cheeks. "It's real now," she whispered. "Not because of the serum, but because I finally got to feel something myself." He held her tightly, and they stayed like that, together in the cold shadows of the cliffs, while the storm raged above. The reverse bond. The wind howled outside the mountain cliffs. Inside the cold mining shelter, Sayalari sat beside Corbin, her head resting on his shoulder, her eyes closed, not from exhaustion, but from peace. For the first time since drinking the human serum, her body was calm. No heat, no trembling, no confusion. She had completed the reverse bond. By sharing Corbin's biology, her system had reset, rebalanced, but something deeper remained. A thread that tied her heart to his, quiet but unbreakable, not just chemical, not just survival. Now it was something chosen. Corbin opened a survival pack and pulled out a small silver med chip. He activated it. Vital signs: human normal, alien normal. Neural sync partial. He blinked. Neural sync? Sailari opened her eyes. Yes, we're still connected. Not just physically, emotionally too. How strong is it? He asked. She gently touched her chest. I feel what you feel. A little. When you're worried, my heart tightens. When you laugh, I feel warmer. He smiled. So, no lying. Around you anymore? She tilted her head playfully. None. Just then, a comm device on Corbin's wrist blinked red. A weak signal came through. Corbin, this is Captain Dresk. We have eyes on your location. You're in danger. Rogue ships closing in fast. Sailari's smile faded. They found us. Corbin stood up. We have to move. She stood too, her strength steady now. I'm ready. Together they climbed the rocky tunnel to the top of the ridge. The air was thinner. The sky had turned gold and violet, clouds flashing with lightning. Far in the distance, black ships approached. 3 of them. No flags, no warnings. Sailari narrowed her eyes. They don't want to capture me anymore, she said. They want to silence me. Because now you're proof the serum can be balanced, Corbin said. And they fear what you represent. She turned to him. Then let's show them what happens when fear meets choice. In the ancient temple ruins above the ridge, a long-dead alien communication tower stood, its frame cracked but still functional. Sailari placed her hand on the glowing crystal embedded in the control panel. This temple is sacred to my people. Long ago, it was used to transmit thoughts across worlds. It still works. Barely. What are you doing? Corbin asked. I'm sending a signal, she said, to every alien who was ever told they couldn't feel, who was ever silenced for wanting more. She closed her eyes. I am Sailari. I was told I was a tool, a mistake. I drank what was not mine and became something new. Not broken, not dangerous, just free. The message burst into space, reaching satellites, relays, and alien minds far beyond. On one distant moon, a young alien girl watched her screen light up with Sailari's image. She began to cry. She wasn't alone anymore. Back on the ridge, black ships approached with weapons locked. Corbin loaded his rifle. They're not listening. Sailari stepped forward. Then we make them listen. She raised both hands, her skin glowing bright now, not from the serum, but from clarity. The ships hovered above. Corbin aimed high. What's the plan? Sailari smiled. We fly. Corbin laughed, confused. We what? But before he could ask again, the wind surged. The ground beneath them lit up. The tower pulsed, and with one massive beam of light, they vanished. The black ships scanned the ridge. No targets, no signs, just a temple, glowing brighter than ever before. And not just chemistry. They reappeared in a soft burst of light, on a floating platform hidden high in the sky, above the clouds of Kyle 9. Sailari and Corbin stood still for a moment, surrounded by complete silence. No ships, no hunters, no alarms, just golden light and slow-moving clouds below their feet. The platform was one of the old sky relics, technology left by Sailari's ancestors. It responded only to touch from someone with strong inner energy. Her bond with Corbin had activated it. She looked around and whispered, "We're safe, for now." Corbin nodded. How far did that message go? She turned to him, her eyes glowing. Far enough. Across the galaxy, the ripple of her message spread. On distant alien worlds, young girls in cold training centers paused their drills. They looked at the transmission in secret. In silent temples, old alien mothers touched the walls, feeling something awaken inside them, a voice they thought they had lost long ago. Even in Earth's research chambers, a few human scientists quietly saved the message to their private files. Not dangerous, not broken, just free. It was reaching more hearts than any weapon ever could. Back on the sky platform, Sailari sat beside Corbin, her legs crossed, her hands in her lap. "Do you think this feeling will last?" she asked softly. "What feeling?" he asked. She looked at him. "This calm, this connection, this truth between us." He took a deep breath. "I think what started as chemistry became something else." She smiled. "You think it's love?" He nodded slowly. "I think it's the beginning of it." But just as they were beginning to rest, the platform shimmered. A symbol glowed in the center. Sailari stood. "Someone's coming." "Friend or enemy?" Corbin asked. "I don't know," she said, "but this platform can only be reached by those who heard my voice." A shape began to form in the light. A girl, not much younger than Sailari, with soft green skin and wide silver eyes. She looked scared, but hopeful. "I followed your voice," she said. "I didn't know what it meant, but when I heard it, I cried. I didn't know aliens were allowed to feel like that." Sailari stepped forward, gently touching the girl's hand. "We weren't allowed," she said. "But now we're choosing it anyway." Corbin watched quietly. He realized this wasn't just about Sailari's reaction to a serum anymore. It was about awakening. What started as a mistake, one wrong drink, had changed everything. And now, it was starting to change the galaxy. That night, they built a fire on the sky platform. More girls began to arrive, one by one, through light and sound. Some were silent, some were trembling, but all of them had one thing in common. They had felt something real when Sailari spoke, and now they wanted to know if they could feel more. Sailari sat by the fire and turned to Corbin. "You saved me," she said. "Not with weapons, not with science, with trust." He shook his head. "You saved yourself. I just refused to walk away." They shared a quiet look. Then she leaned into him and whispered, "I think I love you." He smiled. "I know I love you." Her own will. The sun rose over the sky platform, casting soft golden light across the cloud sea. Sailari stood at the edge, wind flowing through her silver hair. Her skin no longer glowed with the serum. It now glowed with calm, with strength, with freedom. Behind her, a group of alien girls from different worlds and different species sat together around the campfire she and Corbin had lit the night before. None of them had ever been allowed to speak openly. Now, they laughed, quietly, awkwardly, but truly. Corbin stood beside Sailari, sipping warm fluid from a steel cup. He watched her, amazed at how far she had come. When they met, she was trembling on the floor, confused and overwhelmed by something not made for her. Now, she was leading others, without force, without orders, just by being herself. He gently said, "You're becoming something they never planned for." She smiled at him. "I know. Isn't it beautiful?" Down on the surface, messages were spreading. Hidden transmissions between alien medics, young recruits, even quiet human officers who had secretly watched her speech. Some supported her. Some feared her. And some, far more powerful, wanted her silenced. A council met in a closed chamber on Earth's orbital base. "She has disrupted our control," one general said. "Even our own soldiers are questioning protocol." A scientist replied, "Then maybe it's time we listen, not silence." But others disagreed. She must be found, or erased. Back in the sky platform, one of the girls, Raleen, a nervous, green-skinned teen, spoke up. "I still feel broken sometimes," she said. "What if the world out there doesn't want us?" Sailari knelt beside her, gently holding her hand. "Then we build a world that does." "But how?" "By using the one thing they fear," she said softly. "Choice." That evening, Sailari sent out one last message, this time not hidden, a public broadcast, open on every channel. "I am Sailari. I drank what was not meant for me. It changed me, but it did not break me. I bonded. I loved. I chose. And now, I offer this truth to all who feel alone, who were told their feelings were a flaw. You are not wrong. You are not weak. You are not a mistake. You are more than your design. Her voice reached across stars. Soon, protests began. Alien academies received petitions from students demanding emotional rights. Human allies released Silari's full records. Her transformation, her bond, her courage, and the girl once hunted for an accident became a symbol of change. Weeks later, on a quiet moon, Silari and Corbin walked through fields of tall, glowing grass. They lived now in a small village where no orders echoed, no scanners beeped, and no one asked for silence. Children, alien, and human played freely, no testing, no ranking, just learning and laughter. Silari turned to Corbin. Do you regret it? He smiled. Not for a second. You gave up everything. No, he said. I found everything. That night, Silari stood before the new council, a mix of humans, aliens, and voices never heard before. She wore no uniform, only her own name. I'm not here to lead armies, she said. I'm here to protect choice. One counselor asked, Even if that choice leads to mistakes, she replied with a smile. Mistakes made freely are better than perfection forced. They could not argue with that. As the stars rose above her once again, Silari whispered to herself, They wanted to program me. She touched her heart. But I wrote my own code.